She thought she was clever. She told me she was going to visit her family 600 kilometers away. But when I saw her laughing with her ex at a restaurant downtown, I knew exactly what I had to do. What she didn't know was that by the time she came home, she wouldn't even have a home left to return to. If you've ever been betrayed by someone you trusted, you'll feel this one deep in your chest. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and smash the like if you believe cheaters always get what's coming to them. And tell me in the comments, what's the most satisfying revenge you've ever seen? Now, let's dive into the story of how I turned heartbreak into the most legendary payback my friends still talk about today. I'll tell you this story not just as an outsider, but through the lens of what my buddy lived through. Let's call him Ethan. Ethan wasn't perfect. He and his girlfriend, Melissa, had been together for 3 years, living in a small but cozy apartment in the city. Things had been rocky lately, arguments about money, about work schedules, about the future. You know how relationships go when love starts slipping into routine, and routine starts to feel like resentment. But despite all of that, Ethan still trusted her. He still wanted things to work. So when Melissa announced one evening, her voice casual, almost rehearsed, "I'm heading to see my family this week. It's been too long. I'll stay for about 7 days, maybe 8, Ethan nodded. He thought nothing of it. After all, it wasn't unusual. Her family did live a long drive away, nearly 600 kilometers. But deep down, something didn't feel right. It was in the way she avoided his eyes when she spoke. The way her suitcase was packed a little too quickly, like she'd done it before. Still, Ethan pushed those thoughts away. Trust is like that. Sometimes it makes you ignore the alarms ringing in your head. The night she left, Ethan felt the silence of the apartment weighing heavier than usual. He microwaved leftovers, tried to distract himself with TV, but his chest carried that hollow ache of loneliness. And then came the moment. 2 nights later, Ethan decided to grab dinner at a small Italian place after work. It was one of those evenings when the city air feels crisp, and neon lights bounce off wet sidewalks from a recent rain. He was halfway through his pasta when his heart froze. There she was. Melissa. Not 600 kilometers away. Not with her family. But right there, laughing, glowing, leaning across a restaurant patio table. With her ex-boyfriend. Ethan's stomach twisted, a cocktail of rage, disbelief, and heartbreak flooding through him. His fork trembled in his hand. He felt like the air had been sucked out of the street. He pulled out his phone, hands shaking, and zoomed in. Snap. Snap. Photos of her betrayal, right there under the glow of the patio lights. Her hand brushing her ex's arm. Her head tilting back in laughter. It was proof. And it was shattering. Ethan didn't storm over. He didn't shout. He didn't make a scene. Instead, something colder clicked into place. If she could lie so easily, I could plan just as carefully. That night, lying awake in bed, he thought about everything. The apartment lease was in his name alone. She wasn't on it. And it was a month-to-month lease requiring 60 days' notice. He had power she didn't even realize. So Ethan made a decision. He would not scream. He would not beg. He would not even confront her, not yet. He would outsmart her. Over the next several weeks, Ethan acted like nothing had changed. When Melissa returned home, spinning stories about her trip, Ethan smiled faintly, said "Glad you're back," and left it at that. She tried to hug him, but the warmth was gone. He withdrew subtly, distant but not accusatory. He mentioned couples therapy once or twice, but never pushed it. He avoided intimacy, but she didn't seem to notice, too wrapped up in her secret late-night hangouts with friends. Every time she lied about staying over at someone's place, Ethan's chest tightened, but outwardly, he just nodded. Okay. Have fun. Inside, though, he was meticulously setting the stage. He called the landlord, a decent guy he had a good rapport with. He explained the situation, not the cheating, just that he'd be moving out. The landlord agreed to keep things quiet, even scheduling prospective tenant visits for when Melissa was conveniently out. Behind her back, Ethan secured a new place. He quietly packed small items she wouldn't notice. He lined up movers. And all the while, Melissa was living in a bubble of lies, thinking she had him fooled. Moving day arrived like the calm before a storm. At dawn, the moving crew showed up. Boxes unfolded. Furniture legs scraped against floors. The apartment buzzed with activity. Melissa stumbled out of the bedroom, hair messy, eyes squinting. What the hell is going on? That's when Ethan dropped the bomb. Without a word at first, he laid the printed photos on the kitchen table. Melissa froze. Her face drained of color. Her eyes darted across the images, her laughing on the patio, her hand on her ex's. She opened her mouth, but nothing came out. The silence was deafening. Then, the landlord stepped in, having come by to oversee the transition. His voice was steady, businesslike. You have until midnight to clear your belongings. The new tenants are moving in 2 days. If anything's left, it'll be placed on the curb. Melissa's eyes went wide. You can't do this. I live here too. Ethan's voice was calm, almost too calm. No. You don't. Your name was never on the lease. Everything in here, the furniture, the bills, the rent, it's all mine. All you've got are your clothes and toiletries. So pack them. Now. And there it was, the reversal of power. The girl who thought she could juggle lies, who thought Ethan was weak, suddenly reduced to a pile of frantic protests and trembling hands. Ethan snapped one final photo that day, not of her smiling at another man, but of her standing in the middle of the living room, surrounded by a pathetic mound of clothes and makeup bags. All his furniture stayed. All his dignity stayed. She had nothing. That night, Ethan drove away to his new apartment. The city lights blurred past his windshield, but for the first time in weeks, his chest felt light. Melissa, on the other hand, was left scrambling. No safety net. No cozy apartment. Just the bitter taste of her own betrayal echoing back at her. And among our group of friends, Ethan became a legend. His calm execution, his refusal to stoop to anger, his patience, it turned a heartbreak into one of the most satisfying revenge stories we'd ever heard. Here's the thing, sometimes the best revenge isn't about shouting or fighting back. It's about stepping back, keeping your cool, and letting the truth collapse on the liar's head. Ethan didn't just leave her. He left her powerless. And maybe that's the sharpest justice of all. If you enjoyed this story of sweet, calculated revenge, don't forget to like this video and hit subscribe for more. And tell me, what's the most legendary revenge you've ever seen, whether in your own life or someone else's? Drop it in the comments, I might feature it in a future story. Until next time, remember, trust is fragile, and revenge, when earned, is unforgettable.